Midday.
Welcome back to this Midday. According to the Tennessee Department of Health, 62.4% of births in Shelby County in 2013 were actually to unmarried parents. Now, that's about 8,590 children born to parents who are more than likely dealing with issues like paternity, custody, and child support. Attorney Justin Thomas of Thomas Family Law is here to discuss some of your possible legal rights. Thanks for being here, first off.
Thanks for having me.
And we were just talking, 62% of births here in Shelby County to unwed families, huge number, and that could bring up a lot of problems, especially when you're talking about establishing paternity and paying child support, no doubt.
Absolutely. Just like we were talking off camera, when a child is born in wedlock or when people are married, then typically the father is automatically established as a father. But if they don't sign the birth certificate when a child is born out of wedlock, that triggers having to establish parentage in the juvenile court of Shelby County.
And when we talk about the issue of signing that birth certificate, first off, let's just say somebody, and this is the case that you're dealing with right now, somebody signed a birth certificate, they were actually paying child support for the past 8 years, come to find out that the child wasn't there. First thing I'm thinking, is this person stuck until 18 paying child support?
The answer to that question is it depends. They could be stuck. Typically, the courts will make you file a petition to disestablish parentage. You'll have to get some DNA results. But what I would caution everybody on is signing the birth certificate has significant consequences. So if you're not sure, then don't sign that birth certificate. Make sure you get DNA tested, and then you can determine whether or not you are in fact the father.
And as far as the timeline on signing that birth certificate, you said, basically it's right there in the hospital is the only time for the
Correct. You could sign a voluntary acknowledgement of paternity after the child was born, but again, that's typically going to be a short window of time, and if you sign it, you only have a short window of time to rescind that voluntary acknowledgement. And again, there's significant consequences that go along with being the legal father of the child. That's child support. Is there potentially going to be visitation? All those things that typically have to be handled through the juvenile court in Shelby County.
And when you mentioned that, as far as child support and setting up a visitation schedule, how early should I'm assuming most of the time these are fathers that are trying to do these things. How soon should they get on maybe setting up some sort of schedule for that sort of stuff?
Typically, we advise our clients, as soon as the child is born and you can get the DNA test, then you go to the court and try to establish some visitation. Sometimes that can be a little bit difficult with a young child and all the things that go along with that, but as soon as possible would be my advice.
And I'm assuming you run into a lot of issues here in Shelby County, especially with the numbers being so high.
Absolutely. There are a lot of unwed children being born in Shelby County, and a lot of cases going through the juvenile court. And this is an important issue because I've seen it several times in my practice with the signing of the birth certificate or a voluntary acknowledgement, and then trying to have to disestablish paternity at some point in the future. Again, has significant consequences if you sign that birth certificate.
Yeah, so although it may be a touchy subject, I guess the first thing you should do is establish paternity before you take responsibility for anything, basically.
Absolutely. Yes, sir.
Great. So for the folks out there watching, maybe if they want to get in contact with you, get some more information on this, or maybe ask a little bit more research, a little bit more in-depth questions, how can they get in contact with you?
Well, they can check out our website, which is thomasfamilylaw.net. It has a lot of information on there, or our phone number is 537-0010.
Okay, great. Well, we appreciate it. We're back in a moment. Stick around.